Hello everyone and welcome to today's episode of Velocity Kinetics. You'll find me at the wheel of a different car today, not the Swace, not anything I own. My Civic is in because it keeps having a recurrent issue with the tyre pressure warning system. I don't know whether I've got a slow puncture, but if it is that, I haven't got a jack to lift the car up to find out. And if it's a sensor problem, then, you know, they need to do whatever fault code clearing or what have you. So I feel like I can't find the right place for this camera today. So what have I got? I've got a courtesy car today. I've got a Honda Jazz. Let's have a look round, shall we? So, first impressions from getting in, steering wheel for me is a tiny bit too low, and I can't, hang on, I've just found where to adjust it. I couldn't find it in the dealership. That's a bit better, so that changes my opinion on all this. Maybe that's now too high, but if it was stuck in that downwards position, then God no, that would have been horrible. But as you can see, we've got a nice clear dash. This car was given to me with a tyre pressure warning light on. Fantastic. It is currently turned on. It's just sat on its battery because this is a hybrid one. Screen, like I say, lovely and clear. I'd still prefer an old school dash, a bit more like what I've got in my Swace, to be honest, but this is the way they're going. A lot more manufacturers seem to be going this way, so like it or lump it. Lovely screen here, at least as in lovely to look at. First time I'm fiddling through this. Does seem nice and responsive. Actually, yeah, that is quite responsive. Speakers, I'm just going to turn the radio on. Not my sort of music at all. But music's alright. Noise is okay. So it's a Jazz EHEV hybrid electric. What we got here? We got the cigarette lighter, 2 USBs, one for charging, one for... That's good that they've clarified which one is just for power and which one would work for data. That's really good. This tray doesn't seem like a bad idea. Heated seat, got the same, how if I was pointing at it. It's an actual button, which is good. And compared to my Civic, which is an AC button, and then sort of a menu within a menu, that is far better, and they've learned from whatever mistakes they made with that Civic, if in their view they made mistakes. Nice tick on the indicators. I've got paddles on here as well, but rather than telling me what gear it is, it just went on here where you see where it says, my hand wasn't blocking things, I'm trying to do two things at once and keep an eye on the time because I need to start work shortly. The P button, because it's in park. When it's in D, it just shows us D. But then when you press the paddles, you then get an arrow down button, which I don't understand. If I had the car long term, I would understand it and, of course, use it. Nice throw on the lever. Park, reverse, neutral, drive, brake. Brake holds nice. Handbrake, at least at the moment, it's not set up to come on automatically in park. But, again, if it was mine, I'd find a way to make that work. Seats, I mean, that's in a stupidly reclined position, but the seats are okay. Maybe a bit narrow for my sized frame, but overall, I think this is a 74 plate one, so it's quite new. I've got about 5,000 miles on the clock. So far, it's not bad. I don't know what that means, probably an eco score. This one's an automatic, as you gathered by the gear shifter. I can see why these are popular with, well, let's be honest, you very rarely see a young Jazz driver. I can see why they're popular because they're got a very big way in. Door's got a nice weight to it. Let's try getting in the back. Oh, that may not be doable. We'll see, because that's more or less in my driving position. Oh, Smells like cigarettes in here. That's not a good sign. Right, well, I'm in, and as you can see, I'm not quite rubbing, but I'm not exactly in a fantastic position, but it's not too uncomfortable. I do have headroom. As you can see, I do have some headroom. Got a good amount of travel using the old hand spacer. That's not good. I don't know if you can hear that siren on here. But again, it's an okay place to be. And it sounds horrible to say okay, but whilst it isn't bowling me over on a first impression, it's not exactly bad either. Let's go around and have a look at the boot, shall we? So as we try and get out of there. They look alright in black. Got the edge around the blue around the edge. Oh, that's not a good sign. I thought that didn't look right in my mirror, in my rearview mirror. Let's fix it for them, because they clearly can't do it themselves. That's actually not too bad of a load space. Big vertical. Not I suppose this car sort of what it was competing with the Ford Fiesta, so of course it's not going to be the biggest. This nice weight to it. Nice weight, nice thump. Let's do the doors. Let's have a look under the bonnet, see what that's like under there. Really weird that it opens up that wide. Not bad, just weird. I did give the throttle a bit of a tickle on the way back. The motor made quite a nice little fruity noise for a Civic. Not Civic, Jazz engine. But most of it was done on the electric. And it was a very nice drive. Very nice. That's a nice location for that. Coolant. Just trying to work out how nicely well laid out the engine bay is. I'm not a mechanic, so I don't know. But yeah, I suppose that's not too bad. Now let's try the all-important thump test. Do we feel that's got no point where the tension goes. Not for me, but not bad car, and I think I will suggest, well, I've already suggested it to my parents as a replacement for their Fiesta if they decide to replace it, although I think they should just have some time of no car expenses, but that's just me. It's a nice shape. It reminds me of the old style Civic a couple of generations ago, which is quite nice. In fact, it probably wouldn't surprise me if you took a tape measure to them both, if they're actually not that far apart in size and shape. So this is a very quick review of a Jazz. All in all, very nice. A backup camera as well. Let's see where it's mounted. It looks, there it is. It was a nice clear camera, and on the dashboard, it's got the thing where the lines curve as you go. Don't know if these are just for show or whether it actually has parking sensors or not. If they are just for show, then that's a waste, but I'm guessing it might also be cheaper production costs. Not over, well, it's alright. It's just meant to be a cheap entry level car, but this will be far too expensive compared to its price point a few years ago. So look, is this a push? So on my Civic it's a push, and then it's a nozzle, sort of like a pressure nozzle there. That is a better idea, I think, because the pressure nozzle doesn't always recognise when it's full. But also very nicely blended into the bodywork, in my opinion. No, it's a silly thing to comment on, but it's a nice position, clever way to have done it. Right. Well, I think that's my review of this done. Yeah, time to work. Time for me to go to work. But ultimately, it's actually quite nice. It was quite a nice little car. It's quite nice to drive for the short distance I've driven it. I know I could wait. Some people say, well, why have you done that? You could wait for it. And like, yeah, technically you're not wrong. The reason I can't is because I've got to work. I can pop out at lunchtime to get it seen to, pick up, etc. But I can't sit and wait for however many hours it's going to take for that to be seen to. But the braking was all right. So I'm just making a coffee as we do this. The braking was all right. Not the most precise, but I think that was just electronic brake servos. There's not the nicest and very vague. Put you there whilst we can. The steering nice and direct. Throttle nice and responsive. The throttle was nice and responsive. Did I say the steering? The steering very direct, very nice, very direct. This is going to fall over. Fantastic. Hate filming at this angle. Nothing else from pure vanity. It makes me look really fat. Lovely direct steering. Throttle nice and responsive. Gear selector very nice. Seats, like I say, for my wide frame, they were actually surprisingly comfortable off the bat. But that could change on a long journey. Could suddenly regret my decision. Like I said, my parents have got a Ford Fiesta at the moment. They've had 5 of them, I think. And sorry, that's honey I'm putting in. Black coffee with honey is my go-to poison in the morning these days. I say poison because a lot of people will view anything as caffeinated as poison. But it's one of the cars I'm suggesting my parents go look at. More because of that higher off the floor, that wider entry. And I think if my dad's serious, I'm torn because my dad wants 2 cars on the driveway he can get in and out of without any thought, and I don't disagree with the logic, but my mum's also right. There's a reason why they spend so much on a car for him. So, who knows? But it's certainly why I'm going to point their direction. Well, I'm not going to, I already have. But there we are. Anyway, I've got to go to work. Finish making my coffee. Okay. I've got to go to work. Hopefully they can get to the bottom of the problem on the Civic. If not, who knows? But this has been another mini review. To be honest, I love doing these little short mini review videos. So if you want your car featured, drop us a note in the comments, and we'll sort something out. Otherwise, have a good day, drive safe, and look after yourselves. See you later.